Live.
All right, we are live. Welcome to System.Debug. Tonight we have Randi Thompson. We have Marc D. Behr. We're going to talk about that crazy convention that happened 2 weeks ago that I'm hoping almost everybody has recovered from. I have personally gotten most of the way there, but, you know.
Not all the way?
No.
A little extra.
That's right. So no bump tonight, no Ryan. He is at band practice working on who knows what, but I told him maybe work on a new bump. I thought that'd be cool, right?
Songs, dude.
Some drums. Who plays songs anymore?
Ooh.
Isn't it like
you get hit with royalties if you play songs, don't you?
Yeah.
Apex and the Limits, dude. Apex and the Limits plays songs.
That's their, well, see, that might be all right.
That's their jam. That's what they do.
Speaking of songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great shows at Dreamforce this year.
Were they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm the only one who wasn't there.
You didn't hear? RJ, you didn't hear about who played at Dreamforce?
All I know is it was like Metallica or something.
Yeah, Metallica.
And Janet Jackson.
And Janet Jackson.
And Macklemore. Don't forget Macklemore.
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
Macklemore was at the Quit Party.
And,
right.
Interesting.
Did you see the Steve Mo video of Steve Mo and Macklemore doing a dance-off?
Yeah, I didn't know that that's exactly what that was, but I saw Steve Mo dancing on the stage. That Steve Macklemore, or not Steve Macklemore, but that Macklemore also.
I think it's Steve Macklemore now. I think you can officially
Steve
go
Macklemore.
that
There you go.
Either way, I mean, I will honor the fact that they were both on the stage at the same time. I don't know if I would have said it was a dance off. Was it?
There was a dancing, sort of.
Okay.
It's not any. It was probably better than my dancing in the Awesome Admin video that's out there.
Yeah. Oh no, that's out there. Absolutely. I'm wearing the shirt they gave away.
Yeah, I had to give that to my daughter because it didn't fit me. But yeah, that video's. My granddaughter watched it over the weekend, and she just after watching it looks at me and says, "Poppy, you are a really bad dancer."
Oh.
Thank you. Can't argue with her though.
I will say my favorite part was when Steve Mo sort of threw off his coat in like a stripper move, and then Macklemore picked it up and put it on and started surfing the crowd.
Interesting.
Wearing the glittery green Steve Mo jacket.
The glittery green Steve Mo jacket. I kind of have to Google this because I don't know anything about this jacket.
Oh yeah, you definitely want to check that out.
Steve Mo jacket. Green. Just for spice. Wow. Okay.
It's all over Twitter. Just search for Steve Mo on Twitter. It should be really easy to find.
Oh yeah, I'm on Twitter right now looking down his feed.
RJ's always on Twitter. That's like his thing.
No, it was like one of the first things that came up when I typed in tweeting.
You type in green jacket and that's what pops up.
No, not green. I went full. I went all the way. But no, green jacket probably would have come up with some other stuff. Oh my. But anyway, so that's cool. I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, I wish I'd gone to that quit party, but I went to bed.
That's all right.
I hear Mark had like some kind of crazy cool access to it where he got in.
Yeah, I mean, I started the evening that night. That was Thursday night. I started at a Roaring 20s party. That was pretty interesting. Over, I think that was in the Tenderloin somewhere.
Did you get dressed up, Mark?
I didn't know the theme of it.
Oh.
But when I got there, it was just we were like, oh, this is interesting. They had a casino there. They had quite a few things that were kind of interesting. I left that. I walked over to the Macklemore party where I was able to score VIP access. So there was lines of people there, and I just kind of showed my wristband and was able to get right in, go right down onto the upstairs onto the upstairs floor. But the upstairs floor wasn't quite as nice as being down in the floor, so I ended up going back down there. Watched the beginning of that show. And then after that, I walked over to another party that I was invited to that also had another different color wristband. And that one, I'm trying to decide, how do you describe that one? I don't know. I mean, Brian, I mean, I don't. That one was just, I mean, Elton John maybe was there. There was a snake charmer when I walked. 3 snake
Bon
charmers.
Jovi. No, I'm sorry, Bono.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of strange people, things there. Lots of cross dressers. I'm hoping that's what they were. I don't know, but. Yeah, that was an interesting party, to say the least. So that was a long day. That one, I think I had 14.5 miles I walked all day.
Oh yeah, that was
It's a good one.
I know I remember you going to multiple hotels to try and get these wristbands.
Yes, had to keep walking around trying to get all the right wristbands from all the right people. Went to try to get the one off of you, and went to the St. Regis instead of. I mean, I don't know. There was every hotel I went to was the wrong ones.
What's this wristband thing? I
that's
didn't
how
know
you-
about any wristband thing.
That's how you get the special access to different things. I mean, I was able to score the VIP wristband for Quip. And then I was able to get one for the Map Anything party. So you have to have the right connections. That's really what it worked out.
I don't.
Mark called me out. He was just like, "Why can't you do it?" And I was just like, maybe I can."
I had a wristband at the Squid Hangout. I don't think that counts, though.
No, that one was like a lot of fun, wasn't it? That was like a VIP party too, wasn't it?
Oh, I totally missed the party.
You're just the
So
first
why did
part
you
of
have
the
the
hangout
wristband?
Well, because I thought that they would have like a loungy area during the day where I could get some like free food and drink and stuff. So that's why I signed up for it. And they did. They had this storefront right across the street from Moscone West with a couch, but that was it. They didn't have any drinks, no food. And I was like, oh, this isn't quite what I thought it was. Like, I thought I could go in there and kind of, send a couple emails and have a little croissant and drink a cup of coffee or something and, out of the crowd. But no, it wasn't like that at all.
So nonetheless, there's a lot of after events and sponsored events and parties that happen, right? A lot of musical guests, a lot of really cool entertainment that RJ missed out on, being RJ and not being Randy, Mark, me.
Don't go back to your employers and say that all that happens is partying, because
right. And we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about the other stuff that happens too, right?
Wait,
because
the other stuff,
the hotel, right? Where'd you stay? That's right. No, but we did obviously all go and see some sessions, right?
Yep. We did.
So
did
we all have favorite sessions? Did we go to any of the keynotes?
I watched the keynote at Ian Gott's at elements.cloud. They had a private room like in this law building. And so they had food and a delicious mojito, might I add. And so Bill Powell and I got pretty liquored up watching the keynote.
We did not have any mojitos in where I was sitting for the keynote. You know what I mean? I was sitting down like in the kind of like right towards the front of the stage, and yeah, there was no mojitos to be found.
See, you should have come hung out at the elements.cloud event to watch the keynote.
What's his name that for some odd reason, Tony Prophet, he had something to drink during the keynote.
Did he? I didn't get that far because he
sat down, he went on his little adventure with the Alexis or the Google Home, and he sat, he went inside the door. I remember for like at least 5 minutes of his presentation, all I was doing is I was looking at the screen, and he was in this room, and I was like, where did he go? Where is he? I was really confused, but yeah, he had something to drink. Mark, did you see the big keynote? It was around.
It was there in places, but I purposely didn't watch it because it was too long, and most of the stuff I'd rather watch after on so I can cut out all the bad parts and skip to the important facts later on. But the one thing I did notice as walking around there, as you could probably imagine, there was an awful lot of MuleSoft everywhere. That was since they just bought it and spent at least $20 on it. I guess that's why they decided to have them in every single booth that they could imagine had MuleSoft in it, it seemed. And no matter where you went, that's what they were pushing. So
So that's interesting because I don't really recall seeing a whole lot of MuleSoft anywhere. I mean, I saw someone who had a MuleSoft donkey, like one of those plushies.
Well, they had a big booth too, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a couple of, well, they had booths in most of the areas. And even when you walked around and you were looking at something that was, say, IoT related or something like that, they would also have the integration with MuleSoft, and they'd be wanting to talk to you about how that could, MuleSoft would kick into various other products.
Yeah, there was that game on the 3rd floor of Moscone West where you had to connect. It was like an arcade game that you played with like 3 other people, and you had to like connect your systems. It basically was the equivalent of like hitting a button really hard for like 3 minutes. But for me, I saw a lot of Einstein analytics everywhere I went.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Is that their big push this year? Is that their number 1 top priority this year, or what?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, and they really touched on it in the keynote too with Einstein 360 and the big balloon that went around.
Okay, can we talk about that for a quick second?
Absolutely, we can. By all means.
Because I went down into the. Oh, hello everyone. That's Oscar.
Hey, Oscar.
So I went down with Allie Karstens down into the expo, and we actually got time, like one-on-one, with one of the 360 guys. And because we were suspicious that it couldn't be that declarative friendly. Like you couldn't, we were like, a lot of going on. So we asked him, about the, and as it turns out, this guy, he was super nice, but he was very honest up front. And he was like, so the goal is that, yes, declaratively, you can connect all your clouds together and it's powered by MuleSoft, but it's not really ready. And we're like, when you mean ready, like, what are we talking about here? And he's like, all right, you didn't hear it from me.
What was his name?
Yeah, right.
I don't want to get him in trouble or anything,
but he's like 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
But I feel like, okay, we can't be surprised by this, can we?
No.
Salesforce does have a very known habit. We have all been there where they've done the big presentation on something. It's going to be big. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be now. And you start getting into it, and then they're like, well, we haven't fully rolled everything out yet. You know what I'm saying? Just a little.
You're not talking about Lightning, are you?
No. Or Process Builder? Or no. Or, I mean, Chatter Mobile? No, wait.
But if we're being fair, let me take a step back at least, because I'm not the biggest Salesforce fanboy, as BJ will let you guys know. But that is iterative development.
Yeah.
Right? Like in a nutshell, that's what we do on a daily basis. We put out our MVP and we say, hit the ground running with this, everybody. Boom. Everybody starts hitting the ground running, and we make big promises, and then we try to deliver on those down the line. So, I mean, I'm not the biggest Salesforce advocate, but I will definitely back them up in this case.
Even though he's the only one with any Salesforce swag in the background.
I'm at a hotel. I want a break. I'm at a hotel.
I have Cody. That's it. What else do I have?
That's still more than anybody else.
Yeah.
I have a giant bookshelf full of nothing but physics books and math books. There's 0 Salesforce books back there.
I think since RJ's moved into that house, every episode there's like a little bit changing in the background, whether it's the light getting brighter because he's changed a bulb or he's put things in his like shelf. And I think if you go back and watch a bunch of episodes, you can probably watch.
Oh, you can see like when my screens go see like that. Did you see that?
No, you weren't talking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See like all the different. Because I have all my screens, all my million screens. So gotcha. When one of them decides that it's like time to sleep or whatever it decides to do, yeah, it just
gotcha.
Changes the light, which is fun.
But also, no, sorry.
No, Brian, by all means, Randy, please keep going.
So I got it. So despite the customer 360, I actually went to a pseudo hands-on session by hosted by Pete Lyons. Do you guys know who he is?
I don't know.
I feel like I've heard that name.
Yeah. So Pete is first time I've ever met him and really interacted with him, but he's an analytics like guru, like Wave analytics guru who knows all about it. And for those of you who don't know, Wave Analytics has yet another Salesforce language, and it's not SOQL or SAQL or SOSL. It's some other AQL, which I can't remember the acronym right now. So there's another, if you're interested in Einstein analytics, you're going to have to learn yet another language. But he hosted a sort of pseudo hands-on training about how to manipulate charts in Einstein. So for instance, I didn't know this either, but Wave does not support dynamic dates. So you can't filter by a date field in Wave Analytics. So you have to go into the code and actually change the code to match like whatever your dynamic date is going to be. And he showed how to do it. And it was like less than an hour long, but even for me, and I don't code, and I've only touched the surface of Wave, I found it really fascinating, and he's a great teacher. So if you ever get the chance to go to a session by Pete Lyons, I totally recommend it.
Okay. We have 4 mutual connections on on LinkedIn, and now I know who he is. I feel like I've seen this guy's face somewhere.
He's hilarious. We got to hang out at the cigar party.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of the cigar party, who else showed up at the cigar party? I mean, we went to the unicorn at the cigar party. Yeah, but the unicorn is what I'm talking about.
Chris Isaacs.
No. Charlie Isaacs.
Oh, Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
This close. C. Isaacs.
Yeah, C. Isaacs.
Chris Isaacs, singer. Charlie Isaacs.
Unicorn.
IoT?
He's a lot of things, but IoT was one of his first ones, I think.
Gotcha.
IOT City. They also had that, of course, at Dreamforce. I mean,
Yep.
the gigantic IoT City. They changed a few things around. This year, actually, the top of the IoT tower was they got it lit up, and they could change the pictures, kind of like the top of the Salesforce tower does.
Mm-hmm.
So and did you see the Legos? Is that what you're talking about? No.
Yeah, the Lego version.
Yeah, the Lego version of the Salesforce tower and stuff like that was really cool.
Yeah.
And where was that, Mark?
That was in Moscone West on the first floor.
Yeah, the first floor. That's really confusing this year. That last year, didn't they have it in 2 floors?
That was on the second floor.
But you had you had the developer forest, and then you had the admin meadow.
Right.
And those were like 2 different. What's that?
They combined everything this time. They made it smaller. I mean, and also remember there was nothing in Moscone North. That was just all executive briefings over there. So they really sucked up less space out of Moscone this year, it seemed.
Well, and Moscone South was like half of it was under construction. So it was a little creepy going in there.
That's fair.
Speaking of construction, do they when you go down Powell, I think it is, right? That has had that construction there for as many years as I've been going to Dreamforce. There's a hole in the middle of the road, and those things are.
It's like Boston's subway system.
What is going on?
Dude,
they're digging up all the bodies. Yeah,
that's big city life, dude.
But it's not a big city. It's like 7 miles in one direction.
You know what I mean? Don't be normal you. You know what I'm talking about.
Don't be you.
Don't be you. You know
all I'm saying is, can't they get a construction crew from any other city to come in and do it?
This is union.
Yeah. I guess it must be.
It's unions, it's bidding wars, it's who can, it's the whole 9 yards, man. I've seen streets in New York be under construction. I'm not even talking about city. I'm talking about suburbs. I've seen streets be under construction for 2, 3, 4 years, and I swear to you, not even like quarter mile, like 1/8 mile strips of street under construction for 3 years. Comes out, everyone's like, yeah, the road's back open. 2 seconds later, back under construction. Oh, well, it's time to refurbish this road again since it's been 3 years. I've seen it happen. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
Brian, I'm interested in what your favorite session was.
I actually really liked the lightning keynote.
That's the session that you're like, you took away with you is like, I'm so glad I attended that.
Oh, well, I mean, it was a little bit more like, okay, I'll give it to you. It's because of the fact that they were demoing some Map Anything stuff in it, and some other companies kind of talked about it, and I was all like, woo, Map Anything. So I mean, I'm just being biased. I liked it because it made me feel good.
That's good. Also, your thing is kind of lightning these days.
Yeah, and I really do like lightning. And so, I mean, I will admit, though, that like none of the keynotes, you really take away what you kind of want or wish you could take away from them. But they're not educational sessions, right? Like, there's plenty of sessions to go learn about how to do things. The keynotes are more what's
Hype.
out there, yeah, exactly, the hype on it. So I will admit, though, that like you kind of, if you only go to the keynotes, you're not going to pick up much. You're going to go back with a lot of buzzwords, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
As opposed to the release webinars, which are chock full of like learning stuff.
Right. I did see Amy Opplinger. I don't know what the name of the session was, but I was walking past the admin theater stage and she was giving a presentation. So
Oh, was that the imposter?
Yeah,
I
think
there.
so.
Yeah, that was at least one that she posted on Twitter about. I don't know if she had more than that. I would imagine she's.
Oh, I think she had a few. Yeah.
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 But yeah, that's the one that I saw her post about.
And can we just say, speaking of the admin meadow, the karaoke and the lip sync contest this year were outstanding.
Were they?
And if you're curious, RJ, you can always go to my Twitter feed because I posted most of the lip sync events.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check.
He's checking it out right now. I see his moving. His mouse is moving.
I was trying to see if Amy did anything else. I'm on her Twitter right now because that's where I search for things. But yeah, I think that was the one that she was most proud about, at least, or at least seems to be the one that she posted about the most.
It's always a good. I mean, that was the first time I'd actually seen her presentation. I'd always heard about it, and I've, Stu lives a mile away from me, so we've talked about how he presented with her at Midwest Dreamin' about imposter syndrome, and so I've heard about her sessions, and we've talked. There's in the WIT groups, we've had some conversations about it and stuff, and in the Slack, there's conversations about it and stuff, but. It was very emotional, actually. And the audience got very emotional. And there were a lot of people who stood up after she was done and were like, thank you for giving me a vocabulary to talk about what I was feeling, because I didn't even know there was a vocabulary, which sometimes is the most empowering thing to say, there are words that describe what I'm feeling, and I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Right?
That is true. I totally forgot to check our chat. I'm glad that somebody's in.
Yeah, so Jared says Catherine Clark's. Oh, right, yes. So Catherine Clark did some academic work about imposter syndrome. I think that's what you're talking about, referencing, right, Jared?
I think so.
Remember, there's a big delay, so he's going to hear that, and then we're
moved on to 5 other subjects
right,
by
Jared?
that point.
Yeah, like 10 seconds
don't
later,
wait for him to respond.
He's like, yes.
I'm all like, the chat, waiting for him to respond. I mean,
there you go. No, she's the new VetForce product manager.
Oh. Yeah, so someone did mention that VetForce was all over the place, and they're right. They were everywhere. And I didn't interact with them much. Did any of you guys?
I mean, a bit, but only like we did help, not VetForce. We were working through VetForce, but we were helping with a subsidiary of them, where we did a charity fundraiser and did yoga and barre and yoga. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, right. And did you go, Brian? Did you go do yoga and barre?
No, but I helped. I helped facilitate. Map Anything said, do you know any good NPOs that would be great charity opportunities? And I said, oh, let me check Ohana. And I checked the Ohana, and somebody was like, Betforce. And I was like, that's brilliant. So I went back with that, and then we actually worked with Betforce, hooked us up with one of their subsidiaries. You paid to get into the yoga in Bare, and then all those proceeds went to the I can't remember what the name of it is. It starts with an M, but I feel bad now.
MuleSoft.
So anyway, no, definitely not MuleSoft. But they worked with Betforce, and then so all the proceeds went to them, and then Map Anything also doubled that and gave that to them too. So that was really cool.
Nice.
Nice. All right, Mark, you're up next. What was your favorite session?
It's Maravis. It's Maravis.
That's what I was going to say. I was about to
Maravis.
say that. I don't know who it is, but I was about to say it. I'm pretty sure that's what I was going to come up with. I only went to a couple of them. The first one I went to was probably the one that I got the most out of. It was one of the brand new CTAs. He had just, and somebody who works with me up in New Hampshire, he's the New Hampshire user group leader, Steve Baines, and he had just gone out to take his CTA review board the week before, and he took the review board, and as he described it, he got a call the next day saying, hey, would you be interested in sitting on at a panel at Dreamforce on CTAs and the journey to becoming a CTA? And he goes, well, I wasn't going to come out, but yeah, I guess I could come out and do that. They said, well, we'll pay for you to come out. We'll do all that. We'll help you come out there and get that all set up. And he's like, well, oh, by the way, you passed your CTA. You know, it was kind of like an afterthought that, yeah, oh, you're going to be on the panel because you are our newest CTA. And he talked about, there was a panel of three CTAs up there, and they just kind of talked about what the journey was, what it's like, you know, what you had to do to study for it, kind of, you know, an intro to what the process was going to be if anybody's interested in it. The biggest thing I kind of got out of it, which I guess I should have realized, is how expensive of a process that is. I mean, it sounds like from beginning to end, it's got to be close to a $10,000 process between getting all the certifications, and apparently you have to pay for the CTA exam itself. Yep. And then they recommend that you take a CTA prep class that's extra. So, I mean, you add that all up and you're getting close to $10,000 out of pocket to be able to become a CTA. And at the end, they're saying, well, we want more people to become CTAs. I'm like, well, at that price, how many people can afford it?
Right.
Well, and so I heard that the actual CTA exam was $6,000. And the retake is $3,000.
Correct.
And most people don't pass the first time. Yeah, it is pricey. And, you know, a while back, there was a conversation about that there was a certain region in the world where a lot of Salesforce cert dumps were coming from, you know, where they were selling the answers to the cert exams. And it's because the certifications in that part of the world are the same as they are here. They are not lower, even though the quality, the earnings amount is lower in that region of the world. And so when you think about like how I mean, if we think that's expensive, what about some of these, you know, poorer regions of the world who maybe can't even afford a regular cert, much less like the CTA exam?
That could be a couple of years' salary over there.
Yeah.
Oh, easily.
I just think that I don't know. I feel like there should be some sort of like earnings ratio to the cert exam costs. Like, all right, if the median salary is this, then the cert exam is like, you know, 0.01% of that, or, you know, something like.
Well, but even here, I mean,
equitable.
Yeah, but even here, I mean, if you want to get more people into that position, I'm not saying make the requirements any less stringent, but why do you need to charge that much money to be able to get to that position? I mean, if you want to say that there's all these people who have this level of certification in Salesforce, but you're going to make it $10,000 in order to minimum to be able to get to that, you can't realistically expect a lot of people to be able to do it. I mean, if the total cost was maybe $4,000 or $5,000, at least that's something that, you know, you might be able to afford, and it still shows that you know the knowledge, because again, don't dilute what you have to do to obtain it, but just the amount of money that they charge just seems kind of on the ridiculous side.
On the other hand, now that they're moving maintenance exams to Trailhead for free, they got to make their money somewhere, right?
I'm sorry. Did you not see how much money Salesforce has? Maybe you missed the earnings statements and things. Let me pull these up for you. RJ, bring those up.
I'm sorry. Are those real?
I mean,
it's
so
just
come on
Speaking
now.
of certs, though,
There's
speaking of
need the
certs,
dollar signs.
and there's actual cash, and those two are not exactly the same.
so
In my
speaking
book,
of certs, did anybody attempt any at Dreamforce? Did you?
Yep.
What is that like? What's the process like for getting your certification at Dreamforce?
Well, it helps if you, well, it actually does. You can either sign up, you can go up to the Cert Lounge and just sign up for it. Or you can register, sign up for it when you register for your Dreamforce Pass. But you stand in line, you have to check your bag and your coat and your phone, or not your phone, your smartwatches have to come off. You have to check. Basically, you're only allowed to have your ID and your phone on you.
Pretty typical.
Yeah, right. And then you stand in line for a really long time, and then they escort you to a room. And then you sit down with like 60 other people who are all taking, probably each one is taking a different exam than you are. And then they don't lock the doors, but they close them. And they have like 4 proctors in the room who walk around, make sure you're not cheating. And you have to put your phone under your chair. And then you take the test. And when you're done, whether you've passed or failed, you just raise your hand and they escort you out. It's all super quiet.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of relaxing.
Where is the certs? Where are the certs taken?
At the Hilton in Union Square.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Fantastic.
On the second floor. And here's the cool thing for those of you watching or who have never been to Dreamforce. You do not need to have passed a cert at Dreamforce to get a certification t-shirt at the Cert Meadow. You can actually just go up and say, I have a cert, and they will pull you up in WebAssessor and confirm it, and then they will give you a cool t-shirt.
So
And
just stating that you're certified.
Yes.
Right. Certifiable.
And they have new t-shirts this year.
Do they?
Yes. They're gray with that. You know how they have those stickers, the like sort of white on white ones?
Oh, yes, yes.
For like the trailhead and whatever. So it's the t-shirt's gray and it's got that sort of like that white on white sticker look that says certified with like some sort of like, I don't know, avant-garde sticker look in the back, on top of the t-shirt. I don't know. It's cool looking, but I don't know how to really describe it.
Well, all right. Well, I want to say thank you so much to Mark and to Randy for joining us tonight and sharing with us their experiences 2 weeks ago. I'm glad everybody had a good time.
Thank you both.
Yeah, definitely. No problem.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, happy to come back.
Hopefully we can have RJ next week, next year.
That'd
be great. Next week.
Isn't
at Dreamforce?
Isn't next week his week off?
I don't know, RJ, are you going to go to the AWS one in Vegas?
I honestly don't have time for that this year, but next year should be wide open. I'm working on a couple different projects over at Solemn, so things are a little bit hectic right now at the old Slalom HQ for me, but that's okay because I'm just,
Trailhead DX.
When's that?
March.
That's in March.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna try.
Where is it?
San Francisco.
Where is it? Come on now.
I don't know these
Moscone
things.
West.
This is BJ's.
It'll be Moscone West. It will be Moscone West.
I'm the generic software engineer guy. He's the specific Salesforce software engineer guy. He knows all the software things, software things, all the Salesforce things, all the software things too. Though. I don't know anything. He does know all the things.
Well, all right, everybody. Thank you guys so much.
All right, you're welcome.
You have a great night. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
No bump tonight. Bye, Ryan. Thanks again. Oh, Florida Dreaming and Southeast Dreaming in November. Super cool.
Oh, yeah. Wait, no, there's a Northeast Dreaming coming up, too.
That's right.
Maybe he means Northeast. Northeast Dreaming in November.
Northeast Dreaming.
Yeah. And Florida Dreaming.
Southwest, southeast, west. No, it's Northeast Dreaming. Yeah.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Thanks again.
All right.
Bye, everyone.